Well, it's definitely still raining here in California. This is like for like 3 weeks now of just nonstop rain. You see here, I did apply sealant to the driveway. So the driveway and the sidewalk and the pavers, everything doesn't absorb it. You can tell the difference in the color between the driveway and the sidewalk, how it doesn't darken up from, if you look at, certain neighbors' driveways, things like that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about is Civic Type R. All right. Should I upgrade? Is it worth the upgrade? And why I probably won't be doing it. All right, so keep watching. So let's get into the new Civic Type R, the FL5, the newer generation. It's got all the upgrades, but is it worth me getting rid of my FK8, trading in, and switching over to the FL5? Now, on paper, I probably would. If it was something that, an upgrade where I could just go from one move to another move, I would do it. But I won't be doing it because, one, markups. Markups is still happening. And it's not because of this car shortage. I mean, yeah, there's a limited number they make of these cars. But markups has happened since the release of the first US bound Type R in 2017. So they've been doing the $15,000 markup, has been common. And now, I mean, I guess a little inflation now, $20,000 seems to be a common markup. Why would I get rid of this? Because if you follow the channel, I wanted one of these. I really wanted one for a long time. And you always read about them in the magazines. You always see like, okay, is this car really as good as a price? Does this car, can this car command a good price point? And the car is a good price at the MSRP. It is a good $40,000 car. It's a good, maybe 45, maybe we'll push it, but let's say the new one's okay, we got the Bose sound system, you got the blind spot monitor, you got the wireless CarPlay. Okay, let's give it that. But what I say is worth another $20,000 on top of that price. What I say is worth $65,000. No, absolutely not. And I can't fathom trading in a car like this, going to, the new Type R. The reason being is, got the same motor. Everything engineering pretty much the same. I got, slight improvements, the little wire tires, got the 19 inches opposed to the 20 inches. You got, I think the body lines, I think flow better. Just personally, I think I love the way this car looks. This car just looks like a Hot Wheels car. My wife tells me all the time, it's like a Hot Wheels car. But the new one just has that German, European look, the way that the body lines flow, as opposed to look like they stuck on. It looks like I just added that little piece on around the rear fender and added this on here. It looks more online like the M3, where the fenders just flow into the body. Now, I can't do a $20,000 upgrade. I can't do it. Even $5,000. Now, don't get me wrong, I did pay a $5,000 markup or a $4,000 markup with this car. I felt it was okay. And I know people out there who probably are getting these cars at MSRP and getting the new ones. I've seen a couple people post that they got these cars at MSRP. But they, like I said, are these people trading in their car? Are they rolling over negative equity into the point where the dealer says, okay, we'll give you the car for MSRP, but we're gonna take everything off your trade-in to make the money back on the other side. So that's another thing that, those details aren't there. When you drive these, the first time I got behind the wheel. I was like, okay, feels like a Honda, feels nice. But it was the first time that I threw this car into the curve was when I was like, wow, Honda really did it right. The engineers really nailed this. For a front wheel drive car, and I talk about it over and over. If you watch the review, I put a card up here, you can watch that review. I also did a couple POV drives, or at least one POV drive, I think, through the mountains. It's a really good car, but just you can't do the price point. Like for example, if I had an iPhone 13 Pro, whatever it was, and I say, you know what, I want to upgrade and get the 14 Pro Max, would you pay double the price to do a lateral move? Is it worth that price point? And that's kind of what I feel with this car going to the FL5. I feel like, yeah, the nice improvements, nicer camera, nicer, you know, hardware, you know, that's inside, you know, faster processor and a couple other little things. And that's, when I look at this car, look at the FL5, I'm thinking, okay, you get the wireless CarPlay, you're getting the Bose sound system, you're getting, you know, a slight increase in horsepower, hardware increase, you see what I'm saying? Tires a little bit wider, but is it that dramatic of a difference? Obviously I know I'm not gonna be able to test drive, so test driving an FL5 is out of the question. But I think the main reason that I would even consider upgrading, this sounds bad, as much as I like this car, as much as I like the way it looks, I do prefer the toned down look a little bit better. Just because it just, for me as a daily driver, because this car is my daily, I feel like it would blend in a little bit easier, but still pop for the enthusiast who needs to see it, who appreciates the car, as opposed to everybody in the road sees me with this car. And it could be the color, don't get me wrong, it could be the color, but it looks like I just added on a bunch of wings and stuff to the car, and you know, the other third-party stuff, and really the car's all factory. The public really doesn't really know what the Type R is. You know, Type R is sort of like this is an overdone thing that people used to put badges on cars all the time. Sort of like how people put M cars and non-M cars. You know, like when I was in high school, that was the thing. You bought a Civic and you put Type R on it. I think the really true Type R's was the Integra Type R back then, which I still, for me, seeing the ITR, I was kind of like, why are the cars so good? I didn't understand it for a little four-cylinder, because I never driven one. But for me, it's going to be a bad financial decision. Obviously, you know, I paid the markup. I did pay, obviously, when you pay markup, you don't pay that. I highly recommend you never finance markup or taxes. If you're going to finance a car, don't finance your taxes, don't finance especially your markup, because if the market shifts, the car market, you lose value, you can't justify reselling a car and expecting to get that $20,000 back or $15,000 back. So if you decide to do it, eat that money and pay cash and get it out. Don't finance it. Don't have a hard car payment. Don't have that negative equity into the car because you're going right away with negative equity. So $20,000, if I were to pay that cash, let's run some numbers for a second. $45,000 or $44,000 for the car. You add the $20,000 on top of that, that's $65,000. Then you gotta add taxes on top of $65,000. That's another $5,000 where I live for 8% tax rate. I'm probably like over $70,000, okay? Then there's other fees, registration fees. So let's just call it like a good old $70,000. What cars can you get for that? You can get for around $70,000. Even a used car I can get for $70,000. There's a BMW M2. I could buy pre-owned, low mileage X3M. You know, I could do probably an X5 M50i. You know, I could do probably a non-competition M3 with maybe some miles on it. And those cars can outperform the Type R. As good as the Type R is, those cars can outperform it. This is why I don't think it's worth the money. Second of all, why spend that money? I don't know who's spending money out there. I think it's ridiculous. If you're paying $20,000, I'm sorry. Never would do it. Think about it this. $20,000, my kids are teenagers. They're gonna be driving here soon. I could spend $10,000 of that, buy them one $10,000 car, and then use the rest, you know, cover the insurance. Or I could buy them both, each a $10,000 car, and have them cover their insurance. Or I could buy the $40,000 car, the brand new Type R, and buy myself like an older, you know, 9th gen SI as a daily. Oh, to my daily. You see that? See where that money going? That money is a lot of money when you put that in perspective. Also, I don't have this car that long, so I still have a lien on it. I didn't pay cash for it. I did get a good interest rate. I got a 2.2% interest rate on this car. Current rates right now are like in the high 4s, low 5s with the bank. So automatically, I'm gonna screw myself over getting a loan like that. But also, if I'm gonna pay that cash, I owe $34,000 on this car. What if I were to put $20,000 on just the equity on this car, just as principal? Guess what? I might only owe 14,000. And then in that case, you know, I won't be that long for getting it paid off. Paid off Type R, 2021. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a bad car to have. It's not a bad like to be stuck with. I'm not saying like I'm like darn. I got this crappy Type R or whatever else. I'm happy at least I got the updates. So I got the Honda sensing, I got the radar, adaptive cruise control, I got the lane keep assist and the other things. But also invested money into this one too. So even if I were to get, say for example, if I were to get this car for MSRP, get a new FL5, what would it look like for me number wise? Okay. So let's just say I did get an offer on Shift just to see. Shift offered me $39,000 for this car. Or let's say I don't know what I could sell the car for. Maybe I could sell the car for 42. I don't know, but 45. I don't know what it is. But let's just say like I steal the car. I get $7,000 in my pocket. All right, perfect. I buy the new car for MSRP, hypothetically. All right, so then I take that money, that $44,000 plus taxes, so $3,500 ish. And I'm just running some math in my head. I'm probably off. You see, but they say $35,000 to $4,000 of taxes. Okay, that leaves me with $3,000 left. Okay, now I'm financing $40,000, but then I still got to add in the PPF. I still got to do the window tint. The PPF is going to be another, depending if I do the full hood or half the hood like I did for this car, $1,500. Then the window tint, another $600. I did the windshield too, so I got the whole, you know, like I said, I did 70% windshield, 15%. And I go with the XPEL XR Plus, so I get the high-end window tint because we get 100-degree weather here, so it really helps out. I just don't, I'm dumping money back into the car, so then that extra money I just lose back out. It would have to be a really good offer for me to either give, like I said, if I get more money for this car, trade it in, but this one isn't bad. And looking in here, like I said, with the 2020s and up, you get some of the extra little bits here. You get the Alcantara steering wheel, I get the Alcantara shift boot. You know, you get the upgraded shift knob, which is the same that's in the FL5, which is, you know, I think the L5 has a slightly better shifter. This one isn't bad because I'm still getting, I got the 90-gram counterweight in here of the shifting. I think my only gripe would be is just the infotainment. This one's a little clunky. This one freezes up on me a lot. It's a little aggravating. The CarPlay freezes up. I lose audio. I lose everything. But the main reason I like the upgrade would be, I think the blind spot monitor, the Bose sound system, and other things. But I still had to do, I did an upgrade on this car. I did the rearview mirror. I don't know if you can see it here, but the rearview mirror is upgraded. So I did the, this is an OEM rear, by the way, but it's plug and play. So I have the garage door home link, and it auto dims. So bright light hits the mirror when I'm driving at nighttime, it dims itself, which is nice. Hardwired backup camera, or sorry, dash camera, front and rear. I got 2-channel, and I did a hard wire for the radar detector. So I used the mirror tap, and since I did the power, and I got a mirror here that's got power now coming from the car, I was able to tap into that power source and power the radar detector. So when I turn the car on, all I do is press the start button, turn to accessory mode, press it again, the keys in the car, and now I power up my radar detector. And then dash camera, I did a video on that, how to install that. Obviously wired to the fuse box, ran the wires through here. So I did a few things. It's not terrible. And this car isn't bad. It's not, like I said, it's not a bad car to be stuck with. It really isn't. This is a nice car. But I guess the frustrating part would be, if, like I said, if I have the money for something, it sucks to have to pay a markup on something else just because, but that's the world we live in. That's the way things are going. I feel like things are going to settle down here in a little bit because some people are getting into these cars with, falling into the hype of the markups. And unfortunately, they are not able to make their car payments. And the car goes repossession. I'm not saying like every Type R owner is doing it. This goes cars across the board because they're marking up everything from the Camry to your G-Wagon back say about a year ago. I think anything you finance over the value is risky. So if you're looking at a Type R, if you're thinking I want an FL5 and I want to finance it, the markup, reconsider that, because if you need to sell that car later, you don't know your financial situation later on, what could happen to you. You may decide to change jobs. You may decide you may lose your job. You may decide to move and you want to do something else. If you're stuck with the car payment like that, then you have if you're stuck with all that negative equity, you can't get rid of it. And for me, at least putting the money down, when I did the markup on this car, I put that cash down. The Lexus car, I put that cash down. I lost that cash right away. It wasn't money I can get back, but at least when we financed the car, we're only financing the car, the vehicle itself. And you have enough equity into the car, so where, okay, now I owe, like I said, I should think 32 or 34,000 on this car. I got to check again, but I could easily, if something happened, I lose my job, I can sell this car, and not worry about everything else. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Give me a thumbs up and check my other videos out if you like and subscribe. Okay, as I edit the video, I want to mention one more thing. I think that at this point, I probably won't pay him a markup. Before I did 2 markups, I think at this point, I'm just going to wait with the high interest rates right now. The signs of a recession coming, it is coming. I think right this now we should just hold tight what we got, or just wait for these prices to drop, because they're dropping. I'm starting to see the used cars dropping. So I think we should go from there. So just to give you an idea, I got a quote from my dealer. And I was hoping that, like I said, if there was the markup for like $4,000 or $5,000, I might be like, but they came out with $20,000 markup. And if you looked at that, and of course, even with, like I said, I put $10,000 down, had $10,000 equity plus whatever I paid on that. Let's just pay up $10,000 down. My payment is still over about $13 a month. I'll show that screen here. But I'm at $13 a month on a Civic Type R. And my car payment on this car is just a little over $600 a month. So over double my car payment to have the latest and greatest. And it really is a small improvement. But anyway, I think at this point, I'm not gonna pay markups anymore. If I can avoid it, I will not pay it unless something happens where, like I said, you get your car totaled and you gotta buy a car. You gotta buy a car. I mean, everybody's situation is different, but I'm done. we gotta kind of control this down a little bit. So let's just see what happens. You know, see if everybody's asking, nobody's paying. I think a lot of people are starting to really feel the effects of it, especially with the recession coming. We'll see. But thanks for watching, and you know, thumbs up.